Hi everyone, I'm here to talk to you all about my picks for 2020, Caitlyn. So I'm going to start off with this lovely book, Lost Words by Robert McFarlane and Jackie Morris. This is maybe one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, and it actually came out a few years ago, but just this year, a sequel came out called The Lost Spells. So, The Lost Words is this illustrated with watercolor book of poetry, and the idea is that you read it aloud to preserve the beauty of these specific things. I really think this is like the best gift set for anyone of any age. I'm just going to share one of my favorites, which is the Bluebell watercolor. So I've read through The Lost Words all in one sitting and then read the entire book a second time. I have not yet read The Lost Spells because I'm saving it as a treat for the holidays to share with my pod as we celebrate, but it's equally as beautiful and much more compact in size, which is lovely. The next book I want to talk about, Natalie already mentioned, it's Homebody. For those of you who don't know, I am a giant poetry nerd, so I have a few books of poetry I want to share, which are great gift ideas and also just wonderful books. Rupi Kaur's, this is her new book, Homebody. She's written two others. I finished this one this past weekend, and it's just really fantastic and empowering and a great gift for anyone, but especially young women. One of my favorites, actually, I'm just going to share with you. There is a conversation happening inside you. Pay deep attention to what your inner world is saying. The next one I want to mention is Whale Day by Billy Collins, one of my favorite poets. This just came out a few weeks ago. He's just one of the best, witty, funny, often very poignant. So, Whale Day. Next two are by two amazing Native American authors. The first is Earthkeeper by N. Scott Momaday. I haven't read this one yet. It's a collection of essays, but he's also a poet, an author, an essayist, activist. I'm really excited to dig into this one in particular. And then the other one is called An American Sunrise by Joy Harjo, who is one of the U.S. Poet Laureates. I don't have a copy of that book here because we sold it yesterday, but I do have the first one of hers that I've read, which is what got me invested in her work, which is She Had Some Horses. So this one came out a few years ago, but American Sunrise is the one that came out this year, which I wanted to share, but don't have a copy of at the moment, which is a good problem to have at the moment. The next one I want to share is one of my favorite novels that I've read this year, that came out this year. It's called Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey, or McConaughey. It is joining the ranks of like my go-to recommendations, along with All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, The Tiger's Wife by Taya Albrecht. So it's really, I read it a few months ago. It's about a woman who decides to follow the last migration of Arctic terns. So it's set in a near future where the Earth's resources have been depleted to an extent that they're probably not going to recover, and there's mass extinctions. And I know that sounds like a very depressing book, but actually I found it extremely uplifting and really spoke to both my fears and my hopes for the world that we're in right now. And it's just beautifully written. It has really lovely characters that are funny and relatable. Highly recommended migrations. The next one is a little bit kookier. It's called Notes on a Case of Melancholia, or A Little Death, by Nicholas Gurwitch. It's an illustrated book. There are no words, and it looks like a children's book, but really I think it's great for any age and made me laugh a lot, brought me a lot of joy when I read through it, also in one sitting. But it follows basically Death, the Grim Reaper, is having a little bit of trouble killing this psychiatrist. So then they have a little session and you learn this beautiful backstory about Death. But the whole thing is illustrated in the style of Edward Gorey. So it's all this like black and white etching illustration. Highly recommended for a smile. And just a delightful book. Last ones that I want to mention, I have not read any of these, but these are on my wish list for the holidays this year. The first is Entangled Life. It's a science book about fungi and how it affects our world, how fungi make our worlds, change our minds, and shape our futures. It's by Merlin Sheldrake. I'm excited to dig into this one. I like a good science book myself. The next one is a novel called Creatures. All I really know about it is that it has to do with marine biology, and the story sounds extremely engaging. So that one's there. And then the last one is Fly Away, which is a little bit more science fiction-y, and not very long, so it just looks like a good, fun escape. So that's on my list as well. So there you have it. There are some of my picks for 2020. I could go on and on and on, and often do. I hope that you guys find them as enjoyable as I do. Have a great day.